Have you ever had any emergencies or incidents happen to you while flying the airplane? This is a question I frequently get asked, so today I'm going to tell you a little story about the time I lost electrical power to the aircraft while flying 185 passengers. I was a captain on the MD-88 flying at my first major airline from Las Vegas, Nevada to Reno, Nevada. Very short flight, beautiful day, took off. It was my first leg of the trip, and about 40 miles from the airport, so about 15, 20 minutes from landing, descending through 18,000 feet, all of a sudden, all the bells and whistles and alarms start going off in the cockpit. I mean, the first officer looked at each other, what the heck is going on? The autopilot clicked off, the auto throttles clicked off, our screens went blank, screens meaning our primary flight display, our navigation display, everything that we use to basically fly the airplane had went blank. Let me preface it, the airplane was perfectly fine. It was flying just fine. It was just our screens and our automation had just went blank. So first instinct is to grab the airplane and to fly it, because that's something that you learn day one in flight school. Always fly the airplane first. We have a kind of a golden rule: aviate, navigate, communicate, meaning fly the airplane first, navigate second, communicate either with the other pilot or with air traffic control third. So I was manually flying the airplane, and I asked the first officer to grab our QRH, which stands for Quick Reference Handbook, to run through the emergency procedures or emergency checklists to figure out what the heck is going on. The problem with that, though, every light was lit up that we really had no idea where to start. So I made the executive captain decision, for lack of a better term, to say, hey, let's put the checklist away and let's just focus on getting this airplane on the ground safely. We'll figure out the problem later on when we get the gate and call maintenance. So that's exactly what we did. He put the checklist down and told air traffic control what our issue was. We didn't declare an emergency because the airplane was flying, like I said, perfectly fine. We had plenty of gas, and it was VFR, visual flight rules, so we could see the airport, now probably about 30 miles away, but we didn't have no navigation, and I had to manually fly to descend to different altitudes. The only instrument that was working was our backup compass. So literally a compass that you would use like old school Christopher Columbus on a boat, and it's pretty the most reliable thing in the world, but it works. So, and on the MD-88, for those av geeks out there, you actually have to lift the mirror up on your dashboard looking forward because the compass is behind you. It's the most insane design in the world. It's crazy. So anyway, we're flying, passing through about 10,000 feet. We tell air traffic control what the heck's going on. We make a longer than normal kind of base to final turn. I slow the airplane down to about 200 knots, start to slowly extend the flaps. Like, again, it was an electrical problem, so the flaps are hydraulic and mechanical, so we had no issue slowing the airplane down, extending the flaps. Brought the gear down a little bit early just to make sure. We did. Made a great landing. I don't remember, it was a couple of years ago, but made a good enough landing to land. I think it was like runway 16 right, taxi to the gate, no problem, and then maintenance met us. So the passengers had no idea, the flight attendants had no idea because there had no time to tell anyone kind of what was going on, and not to mention they really weren't in the need to know because everything was working fine. We were going to land, no problem, but it was definitely a hello moment. And I will say this: airline training is probably some of the best training in the world as far as like procedures go and having your instincts kicked in and all that stuff. So I was really proud of not only myself, but the first officer that I've been flying with, and also my instructors who had helped me, throughout my career to prepare me for moments like this. But anyway, flying is 100% safe. Like I said, that happens. I've flown about 7,000 hours of my career, and I've only had that type of incident happen that one time. If you made it this far, I'm curious to know, what is the scariest flight you've ever been a part of, whether a passenger or any of my pilot friends out there? Hit me up below, comments, question, would love to know.